Hi, I'm Chris from Tiger Moth Racing. Today I'm excited to give you an overview on the BADER Space Saver belt grinding machine. I'm going to go over a couple of different grits and show you the different finishes that you can get with it, and overall show you how quick, easy, and effective this machine is to use. This is it's a larger industrial machine, so it's a 132-inch long belt. I have a 2-inch wide 36 grit mounted right now. This machine will take up to a 3-inch, and you can special order up to a 6-inch width. The belt is so long that you can really remove a lot of material on your contact wheel without heating up the belt itself. The belt is long enough that by the time it goes around and comes back to the same spot, it's already cooled off. A tilt adjust in both directions. If you need that, there's an option to tilt in this direction, and the standard machine will tilt up and down this way. If you want to sit in a stool, you can adjust it for that, or if you're standing, and for different size contact wheels and things like that. It is a fairly heavy duty machine. It's cast iron and aluminum, so you're looking about 350 pounds for this thing. This is a 2-horse motor. I don't know if it's the one that came with it, but it's 2-horse, 3-phase. The manufacturer's website, you should check it out, is stephanbader.com. They do still sell this identical machine. They have another version of it, also a smaller benchtop version, the B version, that's, I would say, more popular probably. This one, like I said, I just got done rebuilding it. It used to be super loud. My decibel meter was reading 85 decibels, but I think it was above that. I think that was maxing out my meter. It was so loud I had to wear earmuffs all the time. This one, I rebuilt the motor, put new bearings in the motor, removed the motor pulley and cut it flat the way that it's supposed to be. It had a huge dish worn in it, and I recut the idler pulley with the right crown and put new bearings in this also. And that solved my noise issues. It's much quieter. You can use it without earmuffs if you want to now, but probably would still recommend, if you're doing a lot of operating on it, then definitely protect your ears. Okay, so I'm going to give you a demo on this. We're set up with a 36 grit, like I said. I think this is ceramic, if I remember. And I'm just going to show you on some mild steel. This is 1/4 by 1/2 inch material. And then I'll switch to a finer grit, and we'll show you some polishing on something larger with a radius to show you kind of the different features you can get even with just a large contact wheel like this. This machine has the air tension on it, so you know, you can mount the belt loose and then just turn on the air. Gives you your tension. I think that's an option on this. You can also crank the hand wheel if you want to do it manually, but the air is faster. So one of the things I was really excited about with this machine when I first started using is how fast you can remove material. I started out with a little benchtop sander from a yard sale, and going from that to a 132-inch belt, spinning 3 times faster, was just a very exciting, drastic improvement. So this is 1/4 by 1/2 inch steel, and I'm going to go ahead and remove a 1/2 inch of material on it and show you just how fast that happens. So there we go. I marked off a 1/2 inch on there, and we're looking at within just a few seconds here, and not even pushing very hard on this belt, you can eat away that much material. Look at that. Really easy, just quick deburring the corners on it. You got a nice bevel. And if you need to do other features like a large bevel or remove a chunk of material out of the way or adjust something to get it to fit, you can see here how quickly that can be accomplished also. Another few seconds back on the belt and we have a full 45 bevel. Easy deburr, and then you're ready for welding or whatever your next step is. Let's do the end of this large rod and just show you how fast we can do a massive large surface on a solid piece of steel. 2 passes and that's it. And then very quickly you can do a very large safe bevel on there also. That's an 1/8 inch right there. So this is a 150 grit, more of a polishing belt. So here I want to show you the finish you get with a finer belt. This is the 150 grit. It's aluminum oxide, and I'll just show you how quickly you can get a really nice finish on steel. And it just takes a light touch with getting used to the feel of the material on the contact wheel. And just a quick couple of passes with light pressure, you can really get a nice immaculate finish on this. It comes out looking very much like a surface ground finish. Very consistent, very smooth, and pretty effortless application there. Very nice ground finish. And then let's grab this one. Let's do the same thing on the large diameter rod. We're coming right from the 36 grit to the 150, and even just you know, a couple quick passes, you're getting a nice recut ground finish on this. Very handy for quick cleanup on stuff, and giving a really nice visual finish too. And then just playing around here, we'll do the diameter on it also. This worked okay. It was a little difficult to get it lined up. It would be easier to do this with a Scotch-Brite belt or something that was more flexible. But I just wanted to show you the finish you can get on a radius also, and it comes out looking pretty much like the finish you would get on a centerless ground rod. Takes a steady hand, but once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. So, my history with these machines, I first discovered them at the Starrett Tools factory in Athol, Mass. Quite a few years ago. I got to sit down and have one of the gentlemen there show me how they polish the bases for the depth micrometers, and they have a whole row of these machines set up with hundreds of belts and different attachments and accessories, and just 10 minutes sitting down using this machine, I immediately fell in love with it. They are so efficient and so smooth. with a huge material removal rate. Of course, you can adjust that by the RPM and the pressure you add, but you know, to sit down and be able to polish a hardened steel micrometer base with just the flow of your hand over a bearing contact wheel that's maybe 1/2 inch or 3/4 diameter, it works beautifully. And as you see on the stock that we did, it gives you an immaculate finish. And it's actually fairly forgiving. It takes a little bit of practice, but just getting the feel of the part against the wheel, once you get that down, you can do an immaculate finish. I always thought that a lot of those parts that Starrett did were ground on a grinding machine or a CNC hard wheel grinder of some sort, but a lot of them are actually done by hand on a machine like this. I picked up this machine a few years ago for a project I was doing for a client. I picked it up specifically to do that job for polishing some rather large stainless parts, and I ended up, the project changed so much before we actually got to making it that I didn't need this machine for that project anymore. But I had learned so much about it and got to play with it again that I got reignited into it and kept the machine anyway. So recently I've been rebuilding it and adding a few things. A lot of the hardware, like the handles, these are for adjusting the angle to get your tracking on your contact wheel. I find that one of the things that is most annoying to me is having to look around for a wrench or find a tool to adjust something. So pretty much anything that I can add these hand adjustments to, I will do it. They're pretty inexpensive. This is a McMaster hardware part, but it just saves time and effort and energy. I do have this set up on a variable frequency drive. It's a little bit, you know, temporary here. I need to make a mount for it on the other side of the machine, but this gives you full control over the speed, everything from a few hundred RPM for something you don't want to heat up at all, to up to 9,000 surface feet for, you know, hogging out as much as you can, as fast as you can. So I just have this covered up to keep the grinding dust out of it until I get it mounted. One thing that I did do here is make the machine mobile. I am a fan of these heavy-duty mobile bases. This allows me to just roll the machine around anywhere I need to go for making space in the shop or reorienting, something like that. These are a Shop Fox product, but I think they're sold through Grizzly. Totally worth it. Makes, you know, maneuvering the machine and working on it much easier. I have almost a complete set of attachments for this machine that is offered by the BADER company. Most of them haven't used, most of them need cleaning and rebuilding. You can go all the way from, I think it's a 9/16 contact wheel up to an 18-inch wheel. So you can do pretty much anything with this. You can even get felt and cloth contact wheels that have more flexibility to them, so you can get into concave features. There's also a flat platen attachment, so you can do straight grinds also. So these are the attachments. This is the either slack belt or flat platen attachment. So the belt goes over this, and you have a straight section in between that you can work with that's flat instead of round like the wheel. This is another attachment for small diameter contact wheels, super tiny up to a few inches, and there's a couple different styles of that. This, I think, is another slack belt. I need to get or make the wheels for this one. And of course, these have been neglected for a long time, so they need to be cleaned up and repainted. They do have several odd-shaped wheels. This one, I think, probably had an idler somewhere in here so that your belt could come down and back if you need to get into a tight space on something. And here's just another single-sided contact wheel if you need to have close access to the wheel itself. And this is, for example, a 1 inch. You can go all the way down to 1/4 inch wide, like I said, with these up to 6 inches. So there's a bunch of different options. And I'll get these cleaned up and we'll show these to you on the next demo. So I'm very excited about this machine. I'm excited to try different grits and the different attachments after we get those rebuilt and cleaned up. I also wanted to mention another YouTube channel, Walter Sorrells. He has done a whole video series on the different grits and abrasives systems for these machines. That was extremely helpful for me in choosing what I have in stock so far, and we'll give you a great overview on all the options available and when you might use certain things for other things. He is primarily focused on knife making, but all of the grits and the alloys that he talks about are applicable for any machine, pretty much any metal shop that might have something like this. So I'm just excited to dive into it more. I use this machine almost every day. It's super helpful for deburring, or if I need to run over and just change the length of a bolt in a few seconds and then chamfer it. Threaded rod, if you need to just face the end and put a nice chamfer on the end of the rod so the nuts will go on. This is super handy and useful for that. And of course, it will do all of your polishing and fine work as well. I look forward to doing the next video on this with the other features that we talked about, and I hope that you found this useful and it's exciting to you too.